Hi, Brad. Got 3 rock stars here. I keep my people from food, and I am in trouble, but you 3, I think, can do it. So, how long you been in the business? You've been a realtor for a long time, right, Mauricio?
I've been selling real estate for 19 years now.
And your own company?
I turned 5 years old Labor Day.
And Glenn, you are?
10 years.
A decade?
3.5.
So the newbie, the old guy, and you're the middle child, Mauricio.
Hold on a second, he said 10. I'm the old guy, he's the middle child.
5.
You said 5 in your own
with
company.
the business, yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
And you 2 guys never sold real estate, right?
I sold real estate. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I grew up in the business. My mom's a real estate agent.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Glenn. You didn't sell real estate. So I try to think. One, I'd love my audience, because you've been out there in the field dealing with these guys. So please participate in this, and maybe when do we get yell out, and we'll get a mic to you really quick, and we'll turn up the lights, because I think you can help me. I'm not out of gas yet, but I think this would be a good one to interact with people in the street that are selling real estate. But Robert, 3.5 years. I'll lump you 2 guys together. You've raised a pile of money. I think Mauricio probably started with a credit card, or his
Something like that.
winnings. I mean, together, how much have you raised?
$135 million.
Jesus Christ. And you've raised
A little more than that.
more than that. So together, $250 million. And you're now in how many markets?
We're in 22 offices, 8 regions.
In
85.
85. And the word is you spend money like Banshees, meaning office space, top producers. I mean, when does the money, I guess it seems like a lot of money, but that could run out quickly with expensive leases, right? Like, I heard you got some fancy lease in Pasadena and things like that.
A great lease.
Yeah?
Full first floor retail. I know we're profitable in New York, we're profitable in DC, we're profitable in Boston. The way it works is 18 months after launching, you become profitable.
18 months?
Yeah.
Is that your experience, Glenn?
We are also profitable in every market we launch. Usually we're able to do that faster, although at your stage, we took years to make a market profitable. So we've just gotten better at doing it. I think they've been able to grow faster in each market that they go into by investing more. So the business depends on having a large number of real estate agents offset some of the costs of our software developers. And that's the reason that overall, we're still not making money.
So Maurice is a little bit of my foil here. We read somewhere you're profitable. That's good news. But Mauricio, does this pass the believability test that you can start a company and be profitable in 18 months? It sounds like Glenn took longer. What would be your question for guys that are capitalized like that versus how you get into the business?
Yeah, I started completely different. I mean, we started with very little money. I think, we started with $1 million and it was all our money. We've been profitable since day one. I would think it took us about 6 months to be profitable. We started off with very small leases and we've grown from profits. We've just continued to reinvest our own money, reinvest our own profits, and that's how we've grown. So, I don't even understand or fathom how, somebody can spend $135 million, but it's a lot of money to spend.
Well, one thing, it is a lot of money. How do you guys spend it? What are we missing? For the tech companies understand. And one thing I remember when I raised venture money is some of you spend foolishly, not in parties, but as you get the business model right to test. And what about you guys? Where does it go?
Yeah, what we invest in, we call it R&D, research and development. But what that really means is agent ideas. And so what we learned early on is that agent ideas. Right, the best ideas always come from the agents. Then you can look at some of the best peers, right? On software development, Redfin's best in class, and marketing, the agency's best in class. And we take the best of those ideas and we try to institutionalize them across the country.
So you steal all these great ideas from these guys.
That's cool. I mean, you go to the room right next door and there's 40 ideas. And so you just go see which ones do agents like the most, and then you build it. The problem with this space is there's over 270 people or companies like that next door that are calling you every week saying use Broker Metric, use Top Producer, use Broker Leader, use this. You don't know what to use. So what we're trying to do is build it all into one simple company.
Right, so you get it there if you come to Compass.
Yeah.
Same idea?
The same idea. I think that we spend most of our money on software development. Obviously, it also takes money to hire agents and launch a market, but that soon pays for itself.
How does that work? You write them a big bonus check, like getting an NBA player, or what is it?
When we hire agents, we just pay a salary. We pay
you pay a salary, right?
Satisfaction bonus. We pay for healthcare benefits and all these other costs.
So you don't pay salaries?
No, we are a traditional model.
You're still in the salary model?
Yes, but
that sounds
soon
like it
enough,
might change.
A real estate agent is going to be very profitable for us. So within a few months of launching a market, that market generates profits. The longer term challenge is that we have to build a website that consumers want to use to search for listings so that we can meet customers at great scale. That's one of the premises of working at Redfin, is that you're going to have plenty of customers, and it just takes plenty of software to build a site that can help us meet those customers.
Mauricio, anything on this one?
You know, we spend a lot of money on marketing. We're a marketing company. We believe that that's the best way to support our agents. We believe that what we spend our money
marketing the properties?
Marketing our properties, marketing our agents.
Yeah.
Okay. We believe that you have to dare to be bad at something, okay,
right,
in order to be great at something.
I like that.
And our philosophy is that we are a small boutique firm, and we want to be a small boutique firm with a large market share in every market that we go into. So I don't have 600 agents. I don't have 800 agents. My Beverly Hills office has 75. My Brentwood office has 38, and I know that we were 17% of the LA market share last year, in the last 12 months. So, to be able to do that with, 110 agents is pretty solid.
I heard someone mumbling over here. Do you have a question or a comment or a declarative statement? I love declarative statements. And do we have a mic? Is someone bringing you a mic? Do you all know this guy? He is the best guy on the planet. This is Peter Brewer. He's an ambassador. He's wonderful. He also sucks up to me, but it's great. I love it. I love people that suck up to me, Peter.
My name's Georgie, and I'm from Brisbane, Australia, and I just wanted to say I was in New York in the Compass offices, in your office, and the culture there was fabulous, and the marketing, everything is just beautiful, and I was really grateful for the experience to be there, and I just see you guys going wild all over America.
Thank you. I think I'll pay you later for that.
Actually, all three of you do it in a different way. And I go into those offices too. And just each of you share like 2 or 3 things you do, because that's clearly the next generation. It's all about the culture for the agent, that I think is really important.
I'll start. We're collaborative. We have a no asshole rule, as you know, very clear. We like to have fun.
Yeah.
I think that's, and we've built the family. We really care about our people. We really care about our agents. It's one really tight-knit family, and we all love each other. We all love hanging out. I mean, yesterday evening it was 7 p.m. and a little ping pong tournament started in my office, and we were there till 8:30 p.m. and I think that's really what we do in terms of our culture.
Every once in a while I ride my bike to the other side of the tracks from West Hollywood to Beverly Hills. With Yaz going, she goes with me. Sometimes it gets very expensive, but if I'm ever feeling down about real estate, which I do sometimes, I'll drive to the other side of the tracks to Beverly Hills and go into Mauricio's office, and you do get a real uplift. You can feel it. It feels like a tech company that I've started, less than a real estate company. Glenn?
I mean, many of the things that you said, obviously Redfin has a strong sense of mission. We want to make real estate better for the consumer, and we try to bring people together who really believe in that. I think the other distinguishing factor is just that it's team-based. So all the agents are employees, and everyone is supported by a team of transaction coordinators and folks who help out with tours, because it's just hard. Real estate's a 24/7 job. People want to see homes at weekends. They want to talk about offers at night. And we're just trying to figure out a way to staff the on-demand economy without driving everybody crazy. And so striking that balance has been really important to our culture, because we work hard, but we also need to figure out how an agent can take a day off in the summer.
Robert, I think she spoke for you, but before we get to you, I was with an old school Beverly Hills top producer, really smart guy. When I first sat down, I thought, old school, but then I started listening to him. He had so much to say. And he was a real critic, articulate a criticism of too many agents on a listing. And everybody's on the listing. This company, that company, teams, da-da-da. And he said, one, we're all splitting the commission, so who's got an incentive to work hard? And the second thing he said, who's accountable? And I don't know if any of that's true, and he really felt it, and he said that's a change that everyone's all excited about, but I think it's kind of stupid. Now, maybe it's generational, maybe it's non-collaborative, maybe it doesn't mean teams, but accountability is important. And if you make less, maybe you work less hard. How do you respond to that, you two? Because you guys...
Well, we do a lot of collaboration on listings, and we share a lot of listings. So we'll put 2, 3, 4 agents on a particular listing. We try not to co-list with outside agencies. We believe that becomes a little bit more difficult, as you're saying, from the perspective of who's accountable. There are certainly people all over LA that we do it, and we know how to do it, and we've done it for years, and we continue to do those co-listings, but we attempt not to. And usually what we have is we have an account executive that is the lead person, and then you've got the other people that are helping the account executive. So it's in essence creating a team for that particular listing. And when you're talking about listings that are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars, there's plenty of commissions to share there.
Yeah.
and for us, you just have to be clear about who's the top dog. So there's an agent who's responsible for the customer success, and then there are people who help that agent.
Right.
But if there are 2 people who are responsible for the customer success, no one is.
So there's a Curry on the team here.
You need a quarterback. You need a wide receiver. You need a running back.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's how you make a team, right?
Curry's the famous basketball player from the Bay Area.
Stop.
Who lost the fun. The team individual, any thoughts on that? How do you do it differently?
And we support teams. I humbly feel like the industry is going towards teams. I think individuals are becoming teams. Teams are becoming mini brokerages. That's just the trend line that we're seeing. If you look at any advisory business in the world, bankers, lawyers, doctors, your doctor isn't doing your x-rays. And so just like you said, teams work, and we're really encouraging them.
Question out here. Lee, any question? Okay. Anybody feeling the urge?
I have a question.
Yeah, get the mic to this gentleman, Peter, and then you go ahead and ask a question, Mauricio.
I have a question. I'm curious. I mean, we're up here, and I'm just curious. I'm with 2 tech guys here that have an amazing technology company, and I'm just curious because I have my own views and my own philosophies in terms of what the real estate agent is to the real estate transaction, and what technology does in order to enhance to the consumer, and what you guys are doing in order to improve technology for the consumer.
Yeah, well, first of all, I should say I'm a real estate guy. I'm an ex-tech guy. If you think you're going to sell someone's house just with technology, it's not going to work. And so a long time ago, I had to give that up and just decide that we're in the business of delivering great customer service, and the technology sometimes helps us do that. Every once in a while, we screw up and it gets in the way, but most agents are frustrated because they spend so much time looking for customers, trolling different websites, trying to get business, and we think that if we can build sort of a similar approach to Robert, if we can build an integrated solution where you meet the customer, the way you serve the customer is supported by technology, that we can do better, that we can get people into houses faster, we can get listings more exposure, we can automate the escrow process so that it's just less expensive, we can deliver more value to the customer.
Any thoughts on that, Robert?
Yeah, so for me, the only client of a brokerage firm is an agent. And a brokerage firm is an infrastructure of support for agent. That's culture, because you want to be around people you like. That's support, traditional staff support. That's marketing, and then that's technology. So it's one of 4 components. Within the technology, I think it's making you smarter, faster, and look better, because Apple phone looks good. I mean, it has nice user experience. And just taking all these different products that people have and putting into one simple device. And we're nowhere near that yet, but that's the way it should be.
So Mauricio, we know how they raise money. These guys are great storytellers, aren't they? I mean, that was well said. Did they answer
a lot of
question?
stories.
Well, they did.
Well, wait a minute.
Which
He doesn't just tell a good story.
No,
They're going through the roof.
I'm kidding.
They are growing so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, has anybody else noticed?
That was a total cheap shot. I'm sorry. I can't believe I said
That was a low blow.
Let me say it in a slightly different way, but it's also a good story. Like, I believe this industry should be wow, right? So when you use Amazon the first time and the package comes the same day, wow. Uber, wow. Google, wow. There's not a buyer, seller, renter, developer, agent that says wow about this entire experience. That's the opportunity, and that's the challenge.
My only fear is this. You come into all of your companies, and they look cool, they're really great, and they're really fantastic, and the culture's really good, and I'm wowed. And then I try to buy that house next to me in West Hollywood, and I just have a shitty experience. And so somehow it's not getting from all your great stuff down to me as a consumer. And my realtor worked hard, no criticism. All the people worked hard, but it's just not a very good experience.
Well,
and so I wish you'd all figure the back end out instead of the front end, which is cool and whizzy and blah, blah, blah marketing. But help me with, so I want to buy the damn house and pay the commission. I'm happy to pay the commission.
Yep.
But it's ultimately, you need an agent, right? The agent is the buyer, the agent is the seller, because they're representing basically 100% of both, right? So if your agent is overwhelmed with 270 products, calling them every week, if they're overwhelmed I had an agent last week tell me I have to look at WhatsApp, I have to look at my text messages, my emails, and this other other database to see who wants what. And so it's just too complicated. The job's too big for one individual right now with all these platforms.
I think we had Thad Wong over here, who's a really smart, successful broker in Chicago. Do I have the? Yeah, I got it right.
So a quick question for Redfin. We look at your software, we look at your technology, your website, and it's incredibly competitive. And you've opened in a number of markets. I have two questions I'm just curious of. And I think I've read that you've raised a little over $200 million, correct?
I thought it was 165.
Okay, so 165.
But if you find another 35,
We'll take it, right?
So, and you started in Seattle at the same time as Zillow and Trulia.
no, we were first.
You're first, okay. So my question is this, is that if you're opening in these markets and you're providing brokerage service and you're driving leads and paying salaries and healthcare, have you ever thought about eliminating the rebate or the discount so you can have more, 40% more revenue? Or number two, when you look at the $7 billion valuation of Zillow or the purchase price of Trulia, and you have a phenomenal site that everybody loves using, but they don't use your brokers, my question is, have you ever thought about pivoting and becoming a lead generator so you could have that same valuation, and how do you communicate that to your investors?
Great question, Thad. Can you moderate, Kamal?
We've thought about eliminating the refund for buyers, but mostly so we could give sellers a better deal. It turns out that the seller is more price sensitive, and the reason we want to save people money is that it's just part of our mission to do what the customer wants. And when we've talked to customers, they want better service, they want faster service, but they also want better value. And so the question we always ask ourselves when we invest in the service is, would we rather make that investment or would we rather give the customer a lower fee? And sometimes we choose to make the investment and sometimes we choose to give the customer a lower fee. But there's plenty of data. We've talked about it before. Whenever we've changed prices on the buy side and had a lower refund, it has not affected demand at all. And now we're in states that are anti-rebate states, like Oregon, where we have the same levels of demand even though we don't refund any money. So it's a true test of our mission. As for the valuation of the portals and the valuation of Redfin, I think it's obviously easier, with no disrespect to any of the portals, but it's easier just to build an online presence than it is to scale a real world business with agents covering every neighborhood. It's taken us longer. And we also have to acknowledge that it's lower margins, that most of the commission is owed to the agent, not to the software engineer or the CEO, because the agent did most of the work. So that limits our valuation, but we tend to think that it's a larger opportunity. I'm 10 years into this, we have less than 1% market share, but we grow at an almost constant rate every year, which is why I keep coming back for more.
Who else? One last, do we have a question from the field, as they say? Way in the back, I think, Peter. Yeah, yell it out. We're live streamed, by the way, and all the people around the world watching, we're really grateful. There's a ton of people that we are plugged in right now watching. It's a little difficult for the cameras and everything when we have someone from the audience, and my AV people say it's a disaster, but I'm sorry.
I just want to tie into the DocuSign thing a little bit. Are any of you seeing problems where people are signing these contracts so quickly, they're not knowing what they're signing, they're not reading it, and any consequences from that?
Any downside to automation, guys?
People sign documents they didn't understand before we automated it or electronically it. They just ask their agent, where do I initial? So
Yeah, I think people, there's no question people are signing, but that's, where the real estate agent has to take the lead, has to get on the phone, and actually has to explain what the transaction looks like. I mean, I can tell you that what we do is we send out just a quick briefing of, the important points on that contract. So that email with the DocuSign has, the top 10 important points, your contingency date lines, like make it super clear when your money goes hard, when you're losing money, when you need to remove contingencies, et cetera, and then we let them sign away.
So you just started a celebrity sports stuff. Are you going after Mauricio? He represents all these super famous people.
Look, I hope to partner with Mauricio, right?
Really? How does that work?
I think one we
Brad.
we partner as co-brokers or double-siding deals. There's a different definition in every market, more than competitors, right? So at the agent level. And two, I think there's some really unique ways that we can partner with boutique brokerages, which we're going to discuss hopefully at some point. Yeah.
Have you talked to Mauricio about that?
It
seems like he's kind of not clear.
I'll ask you later.
Yeah. You represent celebrities, right?
We represent a lot of celebrities, athletes. We do, and the entire agency is a. Everybody at the agency has the ability to represent celebrities and sports figures and everybody. We believe that we have 130 agents, and every one of those 130 agents is extremely well trained and can represent everybody. So we don't have a sports and entertainment division. We had a guy that now is with Robert over at Compass that did sports and entertainment, but we don't have a division. We actually think that breaks up the company, and it breaks up some of the other agents, and it actually creates a little bit of conflict. So hopefully, you guys are able to figure that one out. But
So Robert, everywhere I go, you're poaching really good people. Is that true?
Yeah, so one, I'm excited to be here in San Francisco. We're going to launch San Francisco hopefully in the next couple months. But
that's not a pejorative, by the way, that you're poaching.
Yeah, well, I don't consider it poaching. My viewpoint is that agents are clients, right? So I don't think Apple or iPhone, when they poach, or when someone comes from Samsung, that they feel like they're poaching Samsung customers. You're a customer literally in every way, right? You pay us, and we give you support.
Right.
And quite frankly, I think the agent, the team, the boutique brokerage, even some larger, they're all teams. And I think there's a greater opportunity to power these teams with what set of services they want. Like Mauricio doesn't need culture; he has great culture. Mauricio doesn't need marketing, but potentially, I think, just to be frank, maybe we could provide software, and maybe we can't. But I think there are a lot of ways that Compass can partner with the broader community.
Right. I'm curious, Glenn, you are more kind of ground up people, taking them, as opposed to going around and trying to nab other top producer. Am I right? Is it a different recruiting strategy?
Well, half our agents come from the industry, and half of our agents go through an apprenticeship. We measured how happy our customers are with each, and it's almost exactly the same, but it is a long apprenticeship. You have to start as a transaction coordinator or an associate agent who might open the door for a contractor. But it's just been a long process of understanding how to train someone, what tools to give that person, what traits to look for, just because you can't grow as a brokerage purely by hiring from other brokerages. I don't know of a brokerage that can do that, especially when I think we are trying to work with younger customers and we need younger agents. Not a 21-year-old necessarily, but maybe someone
that maps demographically. Keep up the good work, gang. Keep innovating. Congrats on your success. Thanks for coming here. Mauricio, thanks for stepping in at the last moment. I always love having you on the stage, and you guys are just really doing a great job. I'm sure there's some holes in what you're doing, but who doesn't have holes?
We all got holes.
Join me in thanking these gentlemen, and thank Lee Brown.